Story 1: The Painter and the Poet. In a small, sunlit town by the sea, there lived a painter named Emily and a poet named Daniel. Emily's world was filled with vibrant colors, while Daniel's was woven with words. Every day, Emily set up her easel on the cliffs overlooking the ocean, painting the sunsets that set the sky ablaze with hues of orange and pink. Meanwhile, Daniel sat beneath a tree, scribbling verses in his worn notebook, describing the same sunsets in ways only he could see. For years, they crossed paths but never spoke, each absorbed in their own world. One day, a strong gust of wind carried one of Daniel's poems from his notebook, sending it fluttering toward Emily. She caught the paper, her eyes drawn to the words written on it. The sky blushes like a lover's cheek, under the gaze of the eternal sea. And in that fleeting moment, I see the colors of a heart set free. The words spoke to her heart in a way nothing else ever had. Moved, she painted the most beautiful sunset she had ever created, adding a touch of warmth and passion she hadn't felt before. The next day, Emily found Daniel sitting beneath his tree and handed him the painting, shy but hopeful. "I painted your poem," she said softly. Daniel gazed at the painting, stunned. The colors perfectly mirrored the emotions he had tried to capture with his words. From that day on, they began meeting at the cliffs, sharing sunsets, poetry, and paint. Slowly, they realized that their worlds, once separate, were more intertwined than they had ever imagined. As time passed, their love grew, blending like the colors of a sunset and the lines of a poem, beautiful, timeless, and always in harmony. And so, they created together a love that painted their hearts and wrote their souls into eternity. Story 2: Ethan and Lily's Love. Once upon a time, in a small coastal town, there lived a fisherman named Ethan and a young artist named Lily. Ethan spent his days at sea, and Lily spent hers painting the beauty of the ocean, capturing every wave, sunset, and ripple. Despite their different worlds, their paths crossed one day when Lily was painting by the shore and Ethan returned from a long day of fishing. The moment Ethan saw Lily, standing with her easel against the backdrop of the sunset, something stirred in his heart. Similarly, Lily couldn't help but admire the strength and serenity in Ethan's eyes, a reflection of the sea he called home. Over time, they began talking during his returns from sea. Ethan would tell her stories about the ocean, and Lily would paint the pictures in her mind from his words. They found comfort in each other, despite living such different lives. One stormy night, Ethan was caught in a dangerous storm far out at sea. The winds howled, and the waves threatened to swallow his small boat whole. As the hours passed, the town gathered at the shore, worried for Ethan's safety. Lily stood there too, tears streaming down her face, praying for his safe return. Against all odds, as dawn broke, Ethan's boat appeared on the horizon, battered but afloat. He was alive. When he set foot on the shore, Lily ran to him and embraced him tightly, both knowing they had almost lost each other. That moment marked a change in their lives. They realized how fragile life could be, and how deeply they had grown to care for one another. Ethan promised Lily that he would never take the sea for granted again, and Lily promised that she would always be waiting for him, no matter how far or how long his journeys took him. They were married under the setting sun, with the sound of the waves as their witness. Ethan continued fishing, but always closer to shore, and Lily continued painting, but now with Ethan by her side. Their love became the heart of the town, a reminder that sometimes the simplest lives can hold the deepest, most enduring love. And every painting Lily created after that always had a boat somewhere in the background as symbol of Ethan, her love, and the sea that brought them together. Story 2: The Tortoise and the Hare. Once upon a time, in a peaceful forest, there lived a tortoise named Tilly and a hare named Harry. They were complete opposites. Harry was fast, energetic, and loved to boast about his speed, while Tilly was slow, calm, and took her time with everything. Despite their differences, they had always been friendly towards each other, sharing small conversations as they passed by. One day, during a forest festival, Harry playfully challenged Tilly to a race, knowing full well that he would win. The other animals laughed, but Tilly, with her steady nature, accepted the challenge with a smile. The race was set for the next day. That night, as Harry prepared for the race, he saw Tilly carefully preparing herself as well. For the first time, he noticed the quiet determination in her eyes. Intrigued, he realized there was more to Tilly than he had thought. He admired her persistence and patience, qualities he lacked. The race day arrived, and, as expected, Harry sped off at lightning speed, leaving Tilly far behind. Halfway through the course, confident in his victory, Harry decided to take a nap under a tree. Meanwhile, Tilly continued at her slow but steady pace, never stopping or looking back. While Harry slept, he began dreaming of Tilly, and in his dream, he saw her kindness, her inner strength, and the beauty of her heart. For the first time, he felt a deep connection to her, realizing that speed wasn't everything. He woke up with a start and looked ahead, only to see Tilly slowly approaching the finish line. Instead of rushing to beat her, Harry watched in awe, realizing that Tilly had taught him a valuable lesson about life and love, patience, persistence, and the beauty of going at your own pace. Tilly crossed the finish line, and the animals cheered. But Harry, instead of feeling defeated, approached her with newfound respect. "You've shown me something I never understood," he said softly. Tilly smiled at him, knowing they had both won something far more important than the race. From that day on, Harry and Tilly became close friends, and their bond grew deeper with time. Harry learned to slow down and appreciate the world around him, and Tilly learned that even though they were different, they complemented each other in ways that made their friendship and love special. Eventually, the two realized that what had started as a simple race had blossomed into a unique loved one that balanced Harry's speed with Tilly's patience. They were never in a hurry, because they knew that as long as they were together, they would always find their way. And so, the tortoise and the hare found love in their differences, proving that love doesn't depend on who's faster or stronger, but on understanding, respect, and walking through life side by side, at whatever pace feels right.